just want to say, my dear little Lucy apple juice, and it's so shocking because really, had anyone asked me or told me a year ago that these series of events would happen, I would say there's no way. It's impossible. Well, forgive me, but I'm going to give you a little bit of the backstory because it comes out in pieces because you don't get the full story. So this is the place to do it. My kids, they're at this age where they know what they want, and they said, Mommy, we want a dog, we want a dog, we want a dog. And then, of course, you have those at the center that are encouraging me to get a dog. And I expressed many, many times my reservations because Phoenix wasn't even 2. And I was told, you shouldn't get a rescue dog until the kids are just a little bit older.
You shouldn't get any dog.
Right. Well, I had difference of opinions, and I was listening to those that are the professionals in this world. I fell in love with a 3-year-old rescue named Maddie. She was fiercely loyal to me. I mean, she did not leave my side. Every shop I went into, every meeting, every confessional that I did for Housewives. And in fact, when I would leave the house, she would go into my closet and bury herself with my shoes because she just wanted to be around me. And I think that she looked at me as, her rescuer, but she didn't want anyone else around me. Well, it posed as a problem when she didn't even want my own children next to me. And she bit Phoenix. It was right under her eyeball. It was very scary. But then when she did it to Jagger within the same day or 24 hours, PK and I both realized, wait a minute, she's troubled and it's not a good idea. And I immediately picked up the phone and to the center, John Sessa, and I said, it's just, I've gotten so close to her. She's very loyal to me, but she doesn't want the kids. Right. So it was unfortunate, and we had to go back. And after that, I said, maybe...
You took her back.
I took her back.
Yeah.
And then, I wanted to kind of put pause because it was traumatic for me because I really fell in love with this dog. Well, needless to say, they were very encouraging of me getting a second dog. Now, I'm going to say something, excuse me, but very off color and disgusting, but it's true. John Sessa was making jokes and making light to me saying, come on, Jiggy's not going to be around. This is going to be the next Jiggy. You got to have this dog, Dorit. Get a puppy. Come on. We'll make him very famous. It'll be the next Jiggy, because Jiggy, he's on his way out. That, which I've never said up until this very moment.
Which I've known for a very long time.
Exactly.
And I have not said.
Yes. There's quite a few disgusting things that were said. Now, at the time, of course, I just pawned it off of something that was just catty and a little gross, but okay. Needless to say, said we have these puppies that they've just been birthed, and they said, please, let's just bring them over. I said, okay, if you want to bring the puppies over, I'm really, really concerned about having another dog. No, this is a puppy. We've nursed her since she was an hour. She's not traumatized. It's perfect for your children. A little Chihuahua mix. Perfect for little kids. It was a brother and a sister.
Right.
And I didn't want to separate them. And I said, I have to take both of them. Well, about 2 days before she was supposed to bring them over, Hannah calls me and says, the brother is really crazy. And I don't think you should take him. I'm a little afraid for you to have him around the children. But the girl, she's totally fine. And I think you should definitely take her. I took the little girl, little Lucy. She was a hyper dog. Sweet, beautiful, adorable, but hyper. She was nipping at Phoenix. My in-laws from London came and they stayed with me for 6 weeks. And my mother-in-law kept saying how she was very concerned. My father came, he stayed with me for a few weeks. He also had the concerns. And he kept saying, Dorit, I'm not sure this is the best dog for your children. And again, this is the second puppy I've had in the house, and I wanted to make it work at all cost. So I brought in the best trainers. Tamar Geller, she's a renowned dog trainer. Everything that Tamar does, Oprah signs off on because she's just considered one of the best. I spent, personally, 3 hours with her and Lucy. She said, I have to tell you, Dorit, she's very reactive. When you come near any of her toys, she'll snap and she'll bite. And I really don't think that you should have her alone with the kids. So I started to express some of my concern to PK. I said, I feel like we're going to have to return her back to Vanderpump Dogs. She's just not the right fit. And really, when we were just about to give her back to Vanderpump Dogs, this woman came to the house, and she fell in love with Lucy. And she had a dog, a Chihuahua mix, just like Lucy. This woman doesn't have children. She goes to the dog beach every day.
You know what she told me? You told me she had a dog stroller.
Dog strollers, dog car seats.
And that she goes to the dog park.
Yes.
And that she was really into Lucy.
Very. My husband convinced me this is the right thing. She's gonna have a beautiful life, Dorit. She's gonna go to the dog beach. Didn't even know they have dog beaches. And then Lucy went to this new loving home. I have pictures of her in her dog car seat, in her dog stroller.
You do?
Yes. There was follow-up. I mean, there's this story. This is where it gets very interesting. I mean, I've got a picture of her with Charlie and playing in the house. You'll see the bed, the $500 bed that I bought at Vanderpump Dogs, $500 cardboard box. Sorry, it's just ridiculous. I mean, don't let me get into that. So, needless to say, I call Lisa and I tell her, I say, oh, Lisa, Lucy, we found her a new home. She just wasn't working out for the kids. And Lisa's like, oh, who's this woman? Well, you know, we do home checks. Okay, well, so on and so forth. Now, watching all of this play out, we had a full conversation. She never said to me, no, we have something in our contract where you can't rehome. You have to bring Lucy back to the foundation. Never said that. I would have done that in a heartbeat. She never asked for information to do a home check. She never did a home check. She didn't suggest that there was a breach of contract. I don't even know if I signed a contract, if I'm honest. I may have, because I would have signed whatever they asked me to, but it wasn't this formal, here's our contract.
I understand. She's your friend.
Right, exactly. There
Your
was,
friend.
you know.
It's not, no one could foresee this coming.
Exactly. I got a phone call from Lisa Vanderpump one morning, and she says, Dorit, this woman that you gave the dog to, who is she? She said, Lucy has ended up in a kill shelter, about to be killed. I said, what? Oh my God, that's impossible. I started shaking. Lisa, I can't believe this. No other information other than that. I hang up the phone. I said, I have to call you back. I hang up the phone. I call immediately, said, where is Lucy? This has to be a different dog. There's no way. So we find out that this woman who adopted Lucy, her mother became very ill and was about to die, and she was on the East Coast. And she couldn't care for Lucy anymore. Lucy was very hyper. So I'm sure she was barking and doing a lot of things, and the neighbors were complaining. And so this woman says that she was assured that Lucy was going to a very good home. Brought it to this local shelter, not a kill shelter, a local shelter. So the shelter, when they got her, when they heard that, they scanned the microchip and called Vanderpump Dogs within an hour.
So she was at the shelter for an hour.
For an hour, she called. Now, the story I got, Lisa calls me back with John Sessa, and he is in an uproar. Lucy was in a dark, cold cage for 2 days, traumatized, about to be killed. I mean, gave me this inflated story, which wasn't true. None of it was true. The woman at the shelter said, we're not a kill shelter. I've devoted 20 years of my life to rescuing dogs. We euthanize less than 1% of dogs. So I call them back and I say, you guys, this is not true. This is not the story that I've just been told, a completely different story. Well, you know, regardless, I have to deal with all of this right now. This was John Sessa. 2 days later, I get a text from Lisa Vanderpump that says, just so you know, Teddi knows. And I'm warning you, you're gonna have to get in front of this.
And I'm warning you, you're going to have to get in front of this.
Exactly.
It's really incredible.
It is.
To put this in a nutshell is if you first hear Dorit, adopted this dog and didn't want it and dropped it off at a kill shelter, you're horrified. But then later the story was the dog was biting the children. It was not dropped off at a kill shelter. She gave it to someone she thought, was a good home. And then that person, unbeknownst to Dorit, took it to a shelter, not a kill shelter. And it was picked up within an hour because of the chip. So that changes things dramatically. Obviously, that is why our reaction changed as well. And I think that's very confusing to the audience.
The night before this message was relayed to Teddi, the whole foundation was alerted the fact that one of our dogs, through the microchip, had been placed in a centre, a police shelter out of town, but that had euthanasia facilities. And they were all very upset about it. The microchip is there in place just exactly for that reason, so we know where our puppies are and there's a punitive damage of $5,000 just so it would deter anybody from taking a puppy from our centre that's probably been, for the most part, they're not puppies like Dorit had, a newborn puppy that had been hand-reared. They're dogs that have had a history, that have been saved from the kill shelter, that are dogs are victims of abuse. They need to go to loving homes. They can't just be then passed on if it doesn't work out. So the microchip is there, and the $5,000, the punitive damage, is to ensure that that dog is given back to our centre. When we had an email, not me personally, but the centre had an email alerting Vanderpump Dog Centre that the puppy was down in a shelter that was out of the city, everybody was very upset about it. And of course they knew it was Dorit's dog.
Vanderpump Dogs never asked for that $5,000 from Dorit, did they?
They were a friend. We made allowances if they wanted to give the $5,000 to the foundation. That's what the contract says, but I'm not going to press for that. It was, upsetting enough. It is what it is. If I asked them, they probably would, but no, they didn't honour the contract. But I think it was a bit of a misunderstanding. I never thought Dorit, I think it was just a careless choice,
At any point, were you mad at Dorit for not bringing Lucy back to Vanderpump Dogs?
I was frustrated that the dog hadn't just come back, but because she'd assured me that the dog had gone to a loving home and she said to a much better life, I thought, well, okay, and I believed that, So when I found out that the dog was in a shelter, I was shocked. But who was I to say that Dorit would have been aware of that? I don't know. I didn't look at it like that. It was just like, let's get the dog back. So when John Cesar was hopping up and down at my house on the Sunday night, calling her every name under the sun, as he's within his rights, he's hand-reared that puppy. He's fighting for dogs to be pulled out of a shelter, not to go back in. I understood it. And I said to him, when Ken and him were going nose to nose, and Ken was saying, calm down, I actually did say, I don't care who talks about the dog, let's just get him back from the shelter. So John Blizzard knew, everybody at the centre knew. John Blizzard told Teddi the next day. Anyway, I really have been through this. I've been through this emotionally for 8 months, taking the brunt of this. I've been through this, for 6 episodes. That's it. The dog's in a loving home where it should have been. That's it.
Thanks for watching. Click right here to subscribe to the Bravo channel.
And click here to watch more videos from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.